What's up, guys? Pastor Rob here with Gage.
Hi.
My son and student in the youth group. As usual, we're going to do a reaction video. This one is a request that we've seen several times in the comments. As usual, we're going to listen to the song and try to give our objective opinion of it from a biblical perspective. And hopefully we'll learn something along the way, either about the artist or the music itself, or even biblical truth. So that's our main goal. So this band tonight is actually a Christian band. I do the air quotes because I don't know them, so I only know what I've been told and what I've read about them. And the band is called Demon Hunter.
That's an interesting name.
It's a very interesting name, and it's a very Christian type name. Like, we go hunting for demons. I wonder. I imagine them wearing like Ghostbuster backpacks and.
Who are you gonna call?
Demon Hunter.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That should be their new slogan. Well, this one should be interesting. I actually have an interesting story about Demon Hunter. So a lot of you don't know this, but I grew up on hip hop. Hip hop was my primary thing. And I got saved probably, I don't know, you're probably one-ish, so probably 14, 15 years ago. Well, the first church I got plugged into, the pastor was a pretty cool guy, and he invited me to go to a concert. It was my pastor and this bodybuilder dude. And they're like, come to this concert, you're going to love it. I'm like, all right, cool. So I met them at the House of Blues, and it was this band called Demon Hunter. And another band called Spoken. So I walk in there, I'm wearing all my hip-hop gear, you know, completely out of place. And these dudes my old pastor was a weightlifter. You remember Pastor Barry?
Yeah.
He was a lineman for a college football team. And then the other guy was a bodybuilder. So he took his shirt off immediately. He's just shredded. And I'm there like, yo, what's up? So the band starts playing, and I'm like, you seen that meme of the kid that's like, you seen that meme? You know, that's exactly how I was. I was like, what is this noise? What is going on here? So after my ears got used to it, the pastor convinced me to get in the mosh pit. So Pastor Rob moshed one time only.
Imagine that. Pastor Rob in a mosh pit.
Well, the funny part is, so, I'm bashing into people like, I guess you're supposed to do in mosh pits. I have no idea. I run into the pastor who is like, a giant man. I literally was like hitting a wall. I was like, oh my goodness. I realized I had done something wrong. In the process, I lost my shoe. What was so cool, I don't know if this happens in all mosh pits, but I have to guess it's a Christian mosh pit thing. The entire mosh pit stopped. And a shoe comes up and like, hey, dude, anybody lose a shoe? And I'm like, oh, me. I had my shoes all loose, all hip-hop style. So strapped my shoe back on and got back in the mix, and it was a good time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I've heard nothing of them since. I don't even recall what I heard that night. I just remember being shocked that this would even be considered Christian. So I've obviously grown a lot then as far as my understanding of what is and isn't Christian, and what's musically I've grown a bit too. So my appreciation for this genre has grown increasingly. As a result of you and the channel, it's helped me along the way. So the song we're doing tonight has been requested numerous times and is called Jesus Wept.
All right.
So that should be a good one. So here we go. Let's dive right into it. You ready? Exactly what I remember.
I like that.
Oh, there's a blast beat. I just got my feet down here moving. Man, that guy getting it.
Yeah.
Man, that's nice. Man. Pretty cool. Yeah. Let's start a mosh pit. that?
That's cool, whatever it is.
Yeah, I like this. Man, now I know why I got in the mosh pit.
I like that. Wow.
Nice.
That was good.
That was great.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised. You could imagine how I felt at that concert walking in and hearing that. I mean, completely blindsided me. Had no idea that was even a thing Christian people did. So to hear that, and even I remember leaving, I couldn't hear anything because it was so loud.
Yeah,
I left it. I was driving home, like, what in the world did I just experience? I think I was limping a little after that mosh pit, but it left a lasting impression on me because I actually met the band and I met the other guys spoken. I got to meet them afterward, and I don't remember anything about them, but I remember them being extremely nice. I know that's not just a Christian thing, but they were really nice, and that stood out to me. So I was like, man, this music was so heavy and so fast, yet these guys were nice.
Yeah, that's interesting. It kind of breaks the stereotype, huh?
Yeah, I imagine they'd be back there like, who are you? You know, yell at me or something. What are you doing back here? You hip-hop guy. You know, but they were super nice, even joked with me a little bit if I remember correctly. But very interesting song, Jesus Wept, which is based off of John 11:35, the shortest verse in the Bible. A lot of people know. Actually, if you're looking to memorize a Bible verse, John 11:35, Jesus wept. There you go. You could say, I memorized a Bible verse. But one of the guys from Desiring God, he said, but for all its grammatical simplicity, it's packed with unfathomable complexity. That one little verse. It's a simple verse, but it means a whole lot. In the song, they say, I'm why Jesus wept. When we look at let's grab our Bible here, actually. So turn to John 11, insert jump cut here. So the verse is in John chapter 11, 28 is kind of the section where we read about Jesus weeping. But the backstory is that this dude Lazarus died, and Mary and Martha, her sister Martha, they send for Jesus, and they said, the Lord, he whom you love is ill. But when Jesus heard it, he said, this illness does not lead to death.
Interesting.
Right? So he was already saying, calm down, chill out. So he actually stayed 2 more days longer. He didn't just like, let me go help these people. He stayed 2 more days longer, and there's a good reason why. We'll get there in a second. So then after the 2 days, he said to his disciples, he said, let's go to Judea again. Now, interestingly, there's a place where they had just tried to kill Jesus. So, and the disciples warn him, hey, whoa, wait a minute. He's like, no, I got to do my thing, essentially. And they go down there. He even says to them, Lazarus has died, and for your sake, I'm glad that I was not there so that you may believe. But let us go to him. So they left. They went down there, and everybody around's mourning. And it says here, starting in verse 34, where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. This is when Jesus wept. It just says Jesus wept. 2 words, right? And so the Jews said, see, he loved him. But some of them said, could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man also have kept him from dying? He wasn't crying because Lazarus died. He even said beforehand he wasn't going to lead to death, right?
Yeah.
So why was he crying?
Because he loved him.
Because he loved Lazarus, and also he has compassion for the mourning people, Mary, Martha, and everybody else who was in the area probably mourning this person's death, and he wept. He is a man of compassion. We talked about Isaiah 53 in another video, but in that verse, the prophet Isaiah prophesies that the coming Messiah will be acquainted with grief and a man of sorrows. He will understand our pain, and his tears. Actually, in the I almost said Hebrew. In the original language, he's actually saying these are tears of compassion. It's not, he didn't just crying uncontrollably. He's crying because of the people around him are crying.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so let's look at Hebrews 4:15. It actually shines some light on that. It says, "For we do not have a high priest," that's Jesus, "who is unable to sympathize with our weakness, but one who is in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sin." So the writer of Hebrews is saying that our high priest, Jesus, has compassion. He understands our situation. He feels it, yet he doesn't sin, obviously. So this was a clear display of his humanity. He also knew maybe that this would be an experience that he himself would have to endure not too long after this, when he would be buried and resurrected. But now the death of Lazarus had a bigger meaning to it. And one of the other reasons why we need to understand more of the background of it, why would he allow this thing to happen? Why would he wait 2 days before he left? It says, remember back when we read, this illness does not lead to death, back in 11 verse 4. He says, it does not lead to death. It is for the glory of God, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it. So
he just did it for, to glorify himself.
Exactly. He even said, so when he got the news that this man was ill, he said, it's not going to lead to death. The whole purpose of this thing is to bring glory to me. Right? So he called it before it even happened, right? Then he waited 2 days. One of the reasons they wait 2 days is because, actually, but by the time he got there, it had been 4 days since the death, according to verse 17 here. The Jews believed that after 3 days, for 3 days, the soul kind of hovers over the body. It's not a biblical belief, just something they said superstitiously. And until it can't gain access back to the body, then it leaves. So the 4th day is when you're truly considered dead. Had he come back to life during those 3 days, they might have attributed it to that. So Jesus took his time. That way,
makes sense.
Yeah, that way it could be 100% attributed to him. So the main purpose of this whole thing was so that God could be glorified through it. And he repeats it again. He says, Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, "Father, I thank you that they took away, that you heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this on account of the people standing around, that they may believe you sent me." So interestingly, Jesus is talking to God and makes certain statements, even though he already knows he's doing it for the sake of the people. And that's a perfect example of this whole thing, that God brought glorified himself through the resurrection of Lazarus. So the main thing was to display his power, to validate him as God, to show his compassion that he shares with us. So did he weep for us?
No.
Not fully.
Not directly.
Yeah, literally he wept for Lazarus' friends. But if you want to kind of pull back a little bit, you could say that he wept because he knew that this would be his fate, as I mentioned, as well as everybody's fate, and that there's a bunch of mourning because of sin and death, and that he knew that the rest of the world was going to have to feel this pain eventually, each person. If you want to go there. So in essence, yes, he did. But it doesn't have as much emphasis on us today as it did for that particular situation then, because the whole thing was, again, to bring glory to him, not so much to talk about us. But one of the things he did say in the song, it was that he talked about the blood being shed. I don't have the lyrics right in front of me, but he mentioned the blood being shed. This is an important thing. In Ephesians 1:5-7. 1:5-7, it says, "He predestined us for adoption to himself as sons through Jesus Christ, according to the purpose of his will, to the praise of his glorious grace, with which he has blessed us in the beloved. In him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of our trespasses, according to the riches of his grace, which he lavished upon us in all wisdom and insight." So we have redemption through his blood. So the shedding of blood that you talked about in the song is what was used to redeem us. This death, this being put in the grave and resurrected like Lazarus was foreshadowing, was the thing that redeemed us, that saved us, that cashed in the debt that we owed God because of our trespasses, forgiveness of our trespasses. Trespasses is like the violation of God's laws.
Mm-hmm.
And it's according to the riches of his grace, which he lavished upon us. His wealth he gave us. Nothing we earned. His grace is unmerited favor, something we didn't earn, but he gave us.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I guess Jesus wept for us, but I know Jesus died for us.
Yeah, and that's more important.
And that's more important. And to know that he also feels what we feel and has compassion. And when we pray for him, he hears us. And when we hurt, he hurts with us, especially because we don't get to see the bigger plan. Like this situation, the people didn't know that Lazarus was gonna resurrect. They didn't know why this was happening. Even though he said it to them already, they were still kind of freaked out by the whole thing because they can't see the big picture like Jesus could. Pretty cool stuff, huh?
Yeah.
So song-wise, what'd you think of the song?
I thought it was pretty good. We might have to go catch back up with Pastor Barry and start another mosh pit.
Barry would like that. Don't run into him. I promise you will regret it. He is a big dude. I think he holds the bench pressing record for his college, which was Liberty University. So that's a pretty big college, pretty big, well-known Christian college. And he was a monster.
Yeah, I haven't seen that guy in forever, but I remember when I was little, it was like, he was like towering above me.
Well, I remember one day I was doing something. He come up behind me. I was probably 200 pounds. He picked me up like a child and chucked me like 3 feet.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, why?
I don't, and then he laughed or whatever. I don't know. He just, big tough guys, they sometimes do that stuff. I don't know.
That was weird.
Yeah, I felt this big. But he was my first pastor, and he was a great dude, and I loved him. Barry, if you ever get to see this, love you. Thank you for all you did for me. Thank you for bringing me to that concert. If who knows, it may have been part of the inspiration to all this.
Yeah, true.
Pretty cool. So I like the song a lot. Actually, we're probably gonna do one or two more other songs at some point because I want to hear what else they have to say, as well as we're gonna do some other Christian metal bands.
Yeah.
Impending Doom, I think, was one people have talked about. I can't remember the other ones.
Yeah, me neither.
But I have a going list, so we'll keep up with that. Thank you guys all for watching with us. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you on the next video.
Peace.